Hello, this is Foghorn with another installment of Flight School Academics. For this, the 30th of January, 2951, or 2021 if you are stuck in the past. This presentation is part of an ongoing series of academics for the members of the Aurora Republic, the premier role-playing organization in Star Citizen. If you are new to the Aurora Republic or visiting for the first time, let me start by saying welcome. We're glad to have you with us. I'd love to hear more from you. If you're interested in hearing more from us, we're a lawful good organization focused on roleplay, exploration, and social interaction, and are currently active and recruiting on Spectrum and Gilded. We're just going to rehack external camera controls and how to use the external cameras properly and get what you want to see quickly and that sort of stuff. So without further ado, this will be short and hopefully we'll get some decent amount of flying in tonight. The big button to get in and out of there, this is of course based on mouse and keyboard defaults. So if you have mapped these to other things in your own personal setup, HOTAS type stuff or HODs or any of that, then of course your mileage may vary and you may have to interpret this for what you've done with your stuff. But the big button to get in and out of the external camera view, of course, is F4. So right there. And that is not only a switch to get you in and out of external camera, then back to first person, it also is a modifier key. So if you hold it down, then that's actually what gives you have to hold that down to operate the camera controls themselves, which are basically clustered over around on the number pad, the home end, page up, page down, and the 4 arrow keys over on the side of your keyboard. And we'll expand that here in a minute, or in a second actually, because it's right now. So looking over there, like I said, assuming you're holding down F4 for external camera, then you can increase or decrease the field of view. So actually how much of the world outside will fit on your screen with plus or minus on that's keypad plus, keypad minus while you're holding F4. Keypad plus will increase the field of view. So in other words, it'll almost look like you zoom out. You're not really zooming out. What you're doing is widening the camera, how much of what's the degrees of the field of view. So the default when you come in, if you have it set, is 90. You can bump that out to 100 degree field of view. And then of course minus goes the other way if you're holding F4. If where the camera is centered at, what it's aiming at, you can move that center position, which will move the camera around with it because it's tied to it, using the arrow keys and the page up and page down while you're holding F4. So if you hold F4 down, you hit the up down arrow key or the left right arrow key or the page up or page down, then that'll give you Y, X, and Z offsets as respectively based on the camera field of view that you're looking at right now. So basically while you're holding down F4, if you hit page up, page down, then that will move what you see in the camera up or down as if you were heaving up or down with the ship. That if you then use the mouse to orbit the camera to a different angle, then that up or down will still be as apparent to the screen. So if you change your angle, that, say if you were now looking straight down from above the spacecraft, looking down from atop, then page up or page down will move you, if you were looking straight down from above with the nose of the spacecraft pointing towards the top of your screen, page up will now move you up towards the nose. So it'll just look like the spacecraft sort of scrolls by that way. So it's as apparent to the screen. Same, the left and right is left and right on the screen, and the left and right arrow is left and right on the screen, and then the up down arrow keys is actually forward towards what you're looking at, and arrow key down is actually back away from it, like in the into the monitor, out back out of the monitor axis. Home and end while holding F4 down will increase or decrease depth of field, which is just basically blurring of either the foreground or the background or both, depending on how many times you tap that. So it's basically hold down F4 and then you tap either home or end one at a time to go step through basically sort of different levels of depth of field, which basically sort of like changing either, I think it's the f-stop on your camera, you know, as you're moving. Okay, the rest of it is all on the number pad. And those are actually just basically memory slots. So number pad 1 through 9. So you have 9 memory slots where you can move the camera view around to a spot if you like, and then you like that. Hold F4 and say hold number pad 1 for longer than 1 second, and that will save that camera view from that spot. So now you move the camera somewhere else, and then if you want to go back to that, now you hold F4 and just press F1 or press number pad 1 less than 1 second. So just a short press. So it's long press versus short press. Long press to save, short press to move the camera back to that spot. If you want to clear one of those, you use number pad 0 to clear that, the one you're on right now, to clear it out. And then if you just want to reset whatever your current camera view is, not one of these saved 9, if you just want to reset the current view you're looking in the window at, back to the default, then it's the number pad asterisk while you're holding the F4 key. And we will show that here for the quick demo, and then we'll go fly. All right, so let me Alt-Tab over there. Okay, so here we are in Arena Commander in the mighty Consolidated Outlands Mustang Alpha starter ship. So yeah, I have my track IR working so I can look around. And of course, if I just reach up and I hit F4, boop, it goes into the default view, which is about like so. It brings you in basically a chase camera view. If you haven't set anything else or changed anything, it starts at a chase camera view and pretty up close and tight to the ship, which gives you to see nice details of the ship. So if I want to orbit the camera, now I'm using keyboard and mouse to fly right now as a default. So like I said, I always do these academics with the keyboard mouse default for anyway, because that's the ubiquitous universal control schema that CISG has declared. Obviously, things are much more easy when you're using sticks and HOTAS and all that sort of thing. So if I just move the mouse now, you got to remember it's actually going to steer the spacecraft because that's how I have it set. So if you're if you go into external camera in F4 and you want to orbit the camera, you need to hold down Z key for free look, just like you hold it down. And now you can rotate the camera view around the spacecraft in 3 dimensions, however you want to do that, which is great if you're looking here, and then get it to whatever spot you want to look at. So say I want to, okay, so now I'm going to hold down F4. Actually, let me move this. So here I am, I'm somewhere over here, and I want to get back to what that was when I first came in, to reset it. So I just hold down F4, hit number pad asterisk, boom, right back to where you started from. So that's kind of your all snafu recovery in that case. All right, so if I go like, this is great. I actually kind of like this chase view, but I want it to be a little bit back farther from the spacecraft so I can kind of get more field of view around it. So that's the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the field of view by holding F4 and hit number pad plus. And it usually has 2 or 3 taps. See, now I'm tapping on it and it won't go any farther. So that just tells me I'm out at the max extents that I can get that. So that's 100 degree field of view left and right. So plus or minus 50 of the nose, left and right of the spacecraft. And then I'm like, yep, that's a little better, but I still want to get back away farther from the spacecraft. So I'm still going to hold F4 down. I'm going to use the arrow key, the down arrow key, to basically zoom back. This isn't a zoom. You're actually moving the camera point of view. I'm just moving it back. So I go, okay, that's pretty good. So I'm going to, if I maybe I want to get a little closer. So, okay, there, F4 and up arrow key to get a little closer back. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to reach over here, hold F4, and I'm going to hold the number pad 5 down for longer than 1 second, and now that's saved. So now if I go reset, boom, here it goes. Now if I hold F4 and I just tap number pad 5 once, boop, it takes right back to where we just were. Okay. If I want to change depth of field and create some blur in the background, like I'm getting ready to do some sort of a screenshot, then I hold F4 down and I'm going to start tapping home. And I'm not sure if I've got this at the right spots to be able to really show the depth of field. I might have to get the camera position a little closer so you can see the differences between far and near. Okay, so if I'm trying to set up some sort of a screenshot, start mashing on, I'm hitting home right now. Things out at the edges of the screen are starting to get blurry. Now I'll go the other way. I'm wondering if the depth of field actually even works in Arena Commander. It may not. Boop. Huh. I don't know. Doesn't seem to be working for me. Okay. I would always suggest going and taking a look at Mr. Hasgaha's. Has a couple of videos if you're actually interested in doing sort of screenshot photography and where you can play with depth of field and get some cool, like the character up front is nice and sharp and everything in the background's a little bit blurred. Then I would always suggest going and watching his video because he actually does it from the eye of a photographer and with the proper terminology thereof too. Okay. So to kind of start wrapping this up, some of the external camera views that I actually set using those memory spots. I always make sure that I have this chase camera view. I always have a straight up dead 6 because that works great when you're trying to sneak into one of those horizontal hangers. And of course I always have a straight down from above God's eye view for trying to drop in and get lined up on those vertical entry hangers. I kind of consider those three spots, those three camera views basically mandatory until they get us better internal representation on our sensor systems and our like radar display. If they ever bring the holography back where you can kind of see the pad underneath you through the 3D holographic sensor display in front of you, and then with the guidance to be able to get your spacecraft down in there, then I may stop using these. But until then, it's basically impossible to get lined up without at least using, particularly on the vertical hangars, it's pretty much impossible to do without using this, particularly with the bigger ships. Try this in a Carrack without using this or a Hammerhead or something, squeezing into some of these things, and it's not going to go well for you. Some other ones that I'll also use, I use as an instructor. I also will set up, like when we're doing fingertip, I will... Huh. What is going on? Oh, there we go. I guess the computer just took a minute to figure out what I was pushing. So I use, whenever we're teaching formation flying, I actually will have a left wing, right wing view like this for when I'm leading. I got people in doing fingertips, so as we're flying around, I can just tap over there real quick and look down the wing line is kind of what these two views are. Down looking down the left wing, down looking down the right wing line to check out their formation position. I also have a straight back over the tail. So if we're doing any sort of a chase, any sort of a trail formation like that, or sometimes like when we were teaching BFM or ACM, a lot of times I may use this to look back over the tail to see what the wingman is doing back there and how they're doing, so I can sort of coach from the other cockpit. And for the future, we really don't have the instrumentation we need to be able to do station keeping like this, but tactical formations tend to be line abreast. So if I was going to be flying line abreast with somebody, and we actually in the future, if in the future we ever get that capability to do that reasonably, then I would also suggest having a left and right line abreast camera views are ones. So those are all optional. Some things I use those as an instructor, but the main three is obviously the straight chase camera looking straight up to butte for the going into a horizontal hanger, and then straight down from above from going down into a vertical hanger. So those kind of three are kind of your basic main ones that you may want to have for all of your ships. And these camera memory slots on the number pad are specific to the ship. So or the ship type. So if you have an Avenger and you have a Mustang and you have a Caterpillar, then you're going to have to go set up these camera views that you want on each of those ships separately, but it remembers them, and they've been persistent for a long time. So, you know, I may not touch the Mustang Alpha for months, but then I'll come back and jump into it, and it remembers it. I can go over into the Avenger, which is where we do most of our training, as that's our training spacecraft, our main training, particularly for combat training spacecraft, and all of the camera presets that I've set up on that one are still there. Same thing for, like, you know, all the ships that I fly the most. Those camera settings are all remembered, and they're all separate. So you could even set up different camera positions into the memory on different ships if for some reason you wanted to. And I kind of use the same ones all the time, so I just go through and set them up whenever I fly them, and I discover they're not there. Like, you know, maybe if I haven't flown if I haven't flown maybe the Cutlass Black in a while, and, you know, every once in a while I'll find one of my ships that I don't have the cameras, my 3 standard cameras set up on. That's it in a nutshell. So I'm going to have to quit the game because I'll have to get my 6 set up, and boink, take us back to the demo. So that's it. I'll tap dance for a couple of seconds just in case there's any questions, and then we'll go fly. So quick and easy, nice and quick and dirty, nice and easy, however we like to say that. Is there a question? Or is I'm just getting side tone? Alrighty. We'll call that good. This wraps up this installment of Academics of Foghorn. Hope you found it interesting and helpful. If you have any questions I didn't answer, and please feel free to contact me via the email, Gilded Spectrum, or of course the comment sections below, and I will answer it to the best of my ability and as quickly as I can. Members or visitors alike, please hit those follows and subscribe buttons as appropriate. Leave us a comment. We actually read all the feedback, and it does help us as we're always trying to improve our contact. If you'd like to find out more information, you can see our bespoke website at aurorarepublic.space. Or you can find us on Spectrum at rubberspaceindustries.com/org/Aurora Rep. I'll see you next time. This is Foghorn signing off and wishing you a very pleasant remainder of your morning, afternoon, and or evening. And thank you so very much for watching.